Hi, I'm Jenny, benevolent dictator at the Botany Bay. And after you've done stuff with the things you bought, we figured you could use some music. So we're happy to present to you Musical Musings, a showcase of local music, and Marissa is the host.
Hey everyone, I'm Marissa Hempel, host of Musical Musings for WBON, and we are so happy to have Botany Bay sponsoring us. Now, it's not necessarily a requirement that you have to buy stuff to do stuff with, but it is highly recommended. Right, Jenny?
That's right. Visit us at 980 Commercial Drive in Richmond or 420 East New Circle Road in Lexington.
All right, are you guys ready? Here's another edition of Musical Musings.
So I shore myself up with beams of borrowed wood, Jim Beam and Barrett, reef big enough to be a mountain.
Hello and welcome to yet another edition of Musical Musings for WBON TV, sponsored by the lovely Botany Bay. I'm Marissa Hempel, and we are here with Tiffany Williams, who came all the way from Nashville. So we're very excited to have you. How was your trip, Tiffany?
It was lovely after the storm passed. So I had a big storm on the way up, so.
But you made it,
But
and
I
you're
made
here
it.
in one piece.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. And I know you tour here quite often, right? Like, Richmond is not necessarily, like, a strange area for you, right?
No. Central Kentucky, Louisville, Eastern Kentucky. I'm originally from Letcher County, and so I did a couple of festivals in Eastern Kentucky recently, and yeah, and I have a show in Louisville today, so I'm in Kentucky pretty frequently.
I kind of feel bad for you right now because it's like, oh, you have a show in Louisville and you're here dealing with us too, pestering you, asking questions about your life. Well, speaking of your life, it's kind of interesting. So I obviously creeped you, as I do, you know, before I have people on. If I didn't, I'd be like Charlie Rose, which is fine. He's great. But yeah, so like I do a little bit of research, and I've seen that you are kind of killing it. You're doing all kinds of things, right? You have a full-time job still, right? Tell us about that.
I do. I work for the legislature in Tennessee and Nashville, and so I write resolutions and proclamations during the week. It's a 9-to-5 situation, and yeah, and I'm doing everything, side hustling hard in the evening and on the weekends and stuff. And any vacation I take is music related. So like recently, I went on a tour of the Northeast, and it was all, you know, vacation days. So.
Well, I know you also have a degree as secondary English, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, so I have a bachelor's in English, and then I went on and got my master's in teaching, and I taught English for 5 years. So yeah.
How does music factor into that then? How did this come about? You're like, oh, I'm sitting here with guitar, but I'm clearly like working in, you know, Tennessee politics. I'm a teacher. I'm writing, you know, scripts. Like, how does music come into that?
Well, my office is a nonpartisan office, and so I don't feel like I work in politics. I mostly am just a writer all day, and so that's very in sync with what I do. So yeah, my job is writing. I am very like I've done a lot of things with linguistics. I was going to get my master's in linguistics too at North Carolina State. I was there right before I moved to Nashville. And I'm a fiction writer, and so like the like central thing to everything I do is words. So you know, I've always kind of been musical too. I was in band from middle school on, and I've not been playing guitar that long. And I mostly learned guitar to just facilitate songs. So yeah, but it all comes back to words for me, even my day job.
Sure, yeah, I can see how that definitely would tie in. But what was you said you're in band, what was your instrument of choice before guitar then?
Flute.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Why didn't you take like the Lizzo route then? I mean, she's hot right now.
Oh yeah, she played flute. Yeah, I knew that. No, I played, I was kind of all over. I've always been all over with the types of things I do, and then also with the, you know, my musical instruments. Like I play a very little mandolin. I bought a flute the other day. I bought it off of Craigslist, and so I met somebody in the Burger King parking lot to get, I was so desperate to have a flute again. So yeah.
So it's a Craigslist deal.
Right, yeah. And,
to all those watching, don't always do this.
No, it wasn't safe. But I did get a $50 flute.
It could be way sketchier.
Right, yeah. But so yeah, and I in high school I played baritone, and I was self-taught on that, and so I've always been open to just like music in general and learning as much as I can in general. And so, so yeah, I guess it doesn't surprise me that I taught myself guitar a few years ago.
Awesome. So that's kind of how you got into this?
Yeah, into songwriting?
Sure, yeah.
Well,
I know you just released your first, like, full length.
Well, no, I just released an EP. I still haven't released a
Okay.
full length. Yeah, so January 18th of this year is when I did. No, I started writing songs. It wasn't like I learned guitar and then I wrote songs. I learned guitar so I could write songs. And yeah, so I guess it was kind of like simultaneous, but yeah, it wasn't just to learn guitar to be learning guitar. It was so I could start writing. And actually, I started playing guitar like a dobro initially, like up on my lap, you know.
Yeah,
and
I've seen
so
that, yeah.
for like a year and a half or 2 years, I played it that way. And that was totally because I was just impatient and I couldn't figure it out. And so I knew like if I could play it that way, I could actually make the chords. And so yeah, I did that. So because I was so desperate to start writing songs, and it worked for a little while. So
well, it's kind of therapeutic in a way, right? I mean,
Yeah.
writing with music, because you're
yeah.
so used to writing, which we'll get into more of that later. But so, do you have an example of one of those songs? 'Cause I'm dying to hear one already. I don't know what you have lined up.
Oh, yeah, I have a few. Do you want to hear one from the album?
Yeah, let's start off with one.
Okay, awesome.
Which one's this?
This is Big Enough to Be a Mountain.
I like that one. Yeah, I always have favorites. I tell everybody this. I'm like,
Oh,
please
you
play
can.
one.
No, I can play one if you want to request one.
I like honestly all of them
Okay.
on the EP, but yes, I
Yeah,
definitely want to hear this
okay.
one. So yeah, go ahead whenever you're ready, dear.
It stands like a steel frame of itself. And when I come back, I'm the ghost of someone else. And I'm back in the context of you, reliving everything I did and I did not do. It hits me every time I cross that line. The pit of my gut scooped out like a deep mine. Here's where your memory lives. So I got out, but a whole lot of good that did. And I still feel it. If big enough to be a mountain big enough to have a name. I know by now I'm supposed to not love you, but I love you all the same. I keep waiting on that to change. I see you every time I fall asleep. Your eyes meet mine, that's what breaks the dream. Then I'm numb the rest of the day, trailed by a hollow feeling that I cannot shake. I watch your name move across their lips. They think I'm fine, I let them go on thinking it. Breaking down won't do anybody good, so I shore myself up with beams of borrowed wood, Jim Beam and Barrett. Reef big enough to be a mountain big enough to have a name. I know by now I'm supposed to not love you, but I do. I wherever you are, you'll never be there again.
Okay, that was like hauntingly beautiful. Like that was when I listened to you, I was like, okay, that's what, and I honestly like, okay, so usually Tiffany, I am like, oh, this person sounds like this, you know, blah, blah, but I cannot think of anyone you sound like, so I'm curious to know what your inspiration is.
My inspiration, I mean, if I had to just give one female artist, probably Patty Griffin. I mean, that's who I really fell in love with early on. Gillian Welch, definitely. As far as like, I really don't know. Like, you know, some people can really name their lineage and they know like I'm kind of in this school or whatever. I really don't know. I often am so close to the tree that I miss the forest in a lot of things. And so I couldn't tell you, but you know, Jason Isbell, John Moreland, like those are the people that I just absolutely love their songwriting, and I can just, you know, put a track on repeat.
Everybody's always name dropping those about these years, but yeah, for sure, like with good reason.
Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so I don't know. I really love. Do you know Phoebe Bridgers?
No, I don't. And
I'm
I feel
kind
like
of obsessed with her right now. She's amazing. She's
what
from
genre
California.
would you describe you and her as?
Singer-songwriter.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm more hillbilly than her for sure.
Well, you do have roots in, you know, the mountains of Kentucky. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? So we know you're from Letcher County.
I'm from McRoberts in Letcher County, which on Wikipedia they call it a hamlet, whatever that means. It means there's not
like
a lot
hill,
of
right? Or a small town or something. Yeah.
So yeah, McRoberts in Letcher County. A lot of people know like Plattsburgh Apple Shop.
Exactly. And I was going to have you talk about Apple Shop, so we might as well while we're here. But first, real quick, so we're sponsored by Botany Bay. If you guys are just now catching up with us, this is Musical Musings. They're at 90 Commercial Drive in Richmond and at 420, which is so appropriate, East New Circle Road in Lexington. And they tell me that their prices are so low you'd think they're high. But we want to talk to Tiffany about Apple Shop, because I know that's kind of where you got your roots. You recorded there, right?
I did. My friend Britton Patrick Morgan from Louisville, he's a musician too, and terrific musician and songwriter. He was down for Cowan Creek Music School. I think they have it. I think they just had it last week, actually. So it's been about a year since I recorded the album. But he has a mobile studio, and so he like. Herbie there at Apple Shop was kind enough to let us record. I recorded all of the songs there, and I could only use 3 of them. So the majority were recorded. I had to redo a couple of them just because my voice was so tired at that point. But yeah, it was really special to me to be able to record songs that are about home in, you know, home at Apple Shop. So
right, and that's what it's all about. Yeah. And I know that's kind of what your EP is all about. It's about being in the mountains, Kentucky. Like I might be in Nashville now, but I'm still Kentucky real hard, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
And for those of you watching, clearly Tiffany works really hard. So give this girl some credit, because you know she's doing X, Y, and Z, working full time and still doing music, which is badass. We appreciate that. So I definitely want to hear another song. Do you have another one lined up?
I do. And so I talked about how most of the songs on, well, the EP is about home. You know, it's called When You Go, and that's the title track, and it's the hook of the title song is You Can't Leave It When You Go. So I don't feel really like I left home, even though I'm not physically there. But probably the song that's least about home is the one I'm going to play now. It's my existential love song. It's the happiest of the sad songs that I have.
Okay, wait, hold on. Okay, you can't say love song around Marissa and not ever ask what the inspiration was.
Oh goodness, no, just it wasn't.
Is this a long story?
I think I could have an album called Love Songs to No One. Like I really do. I think it's more just a general sort of like questioning and like longing. You know, just more like it's kind of grounded in images and, you know, nature and the existential wondering. So I'm sorry, there's no scandal or like.
I mean, not that I wanted scandal, but it's
maybe
like,
not scandals, but there's no like good story there. I'm really
we just
sorry.
love a good love song around here. I'll speak for myself. I love a good love song around here. But that's good. That's really cool. Honestly, even that's better because it's more of a feeling instead of directed at one. You know?
Right. Yeah.
So awesome. So yeah, go ahead.
This is The Waiting.
same stretch of time dropped down, not knowing why or how it all turns out. And so we wait here. Will you wait with me? Will you come be by my side? I love you like the mountains love the warm sunrise. I love you. Is that alright? Now time here lingers like a morning fog, then it's gone. But still the days drag on. We could spend the endless hours sitting close, and maybe we won't mind it waiting. Will you wait with me? Will you come be by my side? I love you like the west wind loves the strong tall pine. I love you. Is that alright? When the gloaming comes, when the work is almost done, we'll draw near and we'll think back on how we cried, how sometimes it felt like flying, and how we both loved the waiting. Will you wait with me? Will you come be by my side? I love you like the warm sand loves the cooling tide. I love you. Is that alright?
That's such a beautiful song.
Thank you.
I've like tried not to be emotional, like I'm gonna cry. So I want to talk more about your writing process, because obviously the lyrics in that are, you know, again, really beautiful and really touching, especially if you're in Kentucky and you're like, I feel that, you know, like you said, the love in the mountains and stuff. So you're a writer. We haven't really plugged that yet. Do you want to mention that?
I'm a fiction writer, and so mostly short story. I've done a few poems, but and eventually novel. But right now it's mostly short story. And I've been doing that since I was, gosh, probably a year longer than the songwriting. But it took a lot longer for the songwriting to become like an apparent part of my life, I guess.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. I wanted to be like, you know, it's like that chicken or the egg, you know, analogy. Which came first, you know, writing for fiction or writing for poems or writing for songwriting?
The fiction, for sure. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. And it's still there, but it doesn't get as much attention lately because I've been so busy with the songs.
So is touring, I mean, it seems like you do a lot of dates. Is this kind of taken over? I know you're obviously a busy girl, so.
Yeah. Well, the biggest tour that I've had was the one I did a couple of weeks ago in the Northeast. I had like a DC show and a New York show, and then several shows in Baltimore, or not Baltimore, Vermont. I did go to Baltimore while I was there, but Yeah, so that's probably been my biggest push. But yeah, I stay fairly busy. I mean, especially having a full-time job and, a lot of my shows. I had a show last weekend in Nashville and I've got another one this month, but I do a lot of, Kentucky shows and so yeah, it keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah, I know we've had you here a couple times and we're going to this month, which this will probably be out August. So I guess my next question is, with the songwriting, kind of, what is your process? Can you give us like a streamline of it? It's like probably really hard.
Oh no, there's no streamline to it. There's a lot of different ways into a song, and there's no right or wrong way into a song. But the way that just because it's like what is central to everything else, my way is most often words. So I'll get a phrase like "big enough to be a mountain." I got that when I was still in graduate school in North Carolina State, and so it was, I think it's Pilot Mountain as you're going. Maybe. Anyway, Winston-Salem, maybe that's, I don't know. Anyway, I remember seeing this just one mountain, and that's where I got, grief big enough to be a mountain was the first phrase of that song. And so, and I often find myself, I have a ton of phrases, in my notes, and then I'll transfer those notes to a bigger notes document in Google Docs, and so it's just endless, But I will often find myself, like, I'll sit down with the guitar and I'll think, okay, I'm going to come up with, a chord progression or a melody or something, like try to get into a song in a different way. And I have found recently, I don't know that this is categorical for me, but I know that I have definitely found lately that I need a phrase or something to kind of shape the melody. So if I don't have that phrase, I'm kind of lost and I don't know where to go. But if I have just even like a little string of words or, I think that kind of helps the song take off.
Well, I mean, that's true artistry, is taking one little thing, like you visualize something as you're driving or whatever, and you're like, oh, here's a beautiful song that tons of people can enjoy. So, again, we're sponsored by Botany Bay. This is Musical Musings. If you're just now catching up with us, and they are here in Richmond, in Commercial Drive, and they're in Lexington. And we are so happy that they sponsor us so we can get wonderful artists like Tiffany Williams here, who is from Kentucky, but she lives in Nashville. And so that's my next question. That's a good segue is, what do you think of Nashville?
I love Nashville. Nashville's a tough town. And I think the biggest thing for somebody who moves there from anywhere else, which most people do, is you can really kind of psych yourself out with all the talent there. I mean, you can go and be in a writer's round and just like be blown away. Any night of the week you can go to so many venues and hear amazing talent. And so it's easy to, wonder how you stack up or just get discouraged because of that. But it's also really inspiring, too, to know that, the quality is there and it makes you want to work harder.
So would you say it's more inspiring rather than deprecating in the end?
I think especially these days you can do music anywhere you want to do music. The reason I'm in Nashville is I did want to be in a bigger city anyway, like just for at least a part of my life. I wanted to experience that. But the thing about Nashville is you can, in any given moment, you're surrounded by people in the music industry, whether you know it or not. Like you're so many people you run into are songwriters, or at least they have friends who are in the industry in some way, and so it makes it really easy to network, and so that's a big part of living down there. But I do like it, and I do feel like it's where I need to be right now, but I don't want anybody thinking that they have to be in Nashville, especially these days.
Well, yeah, the internet makes it so easy, and social media, it's like if your stuff takes off, and we see this overnight with like SoundCloud, and stuff. So that's awesome. It gives more of an opportunity to some people.
Yeah. Especially if you want to kind of like person to person, like just get out there and but you can do that in smaller communities too, but in Nashville it's almost like unavoidable. Like you're going to run into songwriters even if you're an introvert like me.
Right. No, that's awesome. I love Nashville. I've only been there a few times, and our last podcast was with a girl from Nashville too. So it's always good to have people, because that's where the hub of creativity is, you know.
Songwriter town, for sure.
So do you want to plug your EP one more time before we go into the last song?
Yeah, it's called When You Go, and it was released January 18th, and it's available on iTunes and Spotify, and Yeah, and then you can buy it from CD Baby online, or you can hit me up and I'll send you one, and I'll put a nice little note with it and maybe send you a sticker.
Listen, we love stickers around here. So that is a plug if I've ever heard one. Yeah, so for you that are watching, and Tiffany's very responsive on social media because she answered me pretty much right away and was like, I'm down, you know. So she's a cool chick. So yeah, if you are watching, listening, hit her up and she will definitely hook you up with the EP, which I am already in love with. Like I said, I would describe it, you know, because I can't really compare you to anyone, which for once I'm at a loss. But yeah, Hauntingly Beautiful was like what I got. That's all I'm going with. I'm sorry. I wish I had more right now.
I don't think you need to apologize for that.
Okay.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's a compliment. Don't get me wrong. But usually I am really quick on my feet with words. So you've got one song. Unfortunately, we're almost out of time. So one more song for us?
Yeah. Can I play you a new one?
We love ending with new ones. We usually try to do that actually, so that's wonderful.
Awesome, yeah.
What's this one called, Tiffany?
This is called The Sea.
Okay. And will this be out on a new album sometime, possibly?
Yeah, I'm looking toward, nothing set in stone, but I'm looking toward an LP pretty soon, and I'm hoping this will be on it. You never know, but...
Either way, though, we get to hear it here pretty much first, so that's cool. All right, go ahead, dear.
If you were the sea, dear, if you were the sea, if you were the sea, dear, if you were the sea, I'd be sea swallowed and lost to the deep, swallowed and lost to the deep. If you were a mountain tracing the sky, if you were a mountain tracing the sky, I'd rest in your shadow till the sweet by and by, until the sweet by and by. If you were an oak tree, rooted and strong, if you were an oak tree, rooted and strong, I'd be the red bird that sings your song, sings till the daylight is gone. If you were death, dear, coming for me, if you were sure death, dear, coming for me, I would stand still and let be what would be, and let be whatever would be. But you're only a stone, dear, carved up and cold. You're only a stone, dear, carved up and cold. So I make my bed by your deep buried bones, beside you, but ever alone.
Okay, well, you've got me in chills, so you sufficiently did well on that new song. So that was called The Sea.
The Sea, yeah.
I love that. I saw Austin liked it. He was bobbing his head over there in the master control. So you clearly have some new fans, Tiffany.
Oh, yay.
I'm sure the girls love it too. So yeah, I think my favorite part of that was like the guitar. That was amazing.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm such a novice at guitar. I just play around until I find something cool. So,
well, I think that's the coolest part from what I've learned from speaking with you is that, you know, like you had a career, or still do rather, but started a career, and like songwriting was just kind of like, oh, it's taking a back seat, but now it's like, this might be something that I could actually do for the rest of my life.
yeah, I hope to do it for the rest of my life to some degree.
Yeah. If anything, just to like keep those creative juices flowing, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Tiffany, you have been absolutely wonderful, and you definitely have some new fans here. Why don't you plug one more time where people can find your info on socials and all that stuff?
Okay, so Facebook is probably the most important one, so it's just facebook.com/TMWilliamsmusic. And then you can just search me and find me on Spotify or iTunes as well.
Awesome. So you're streaming, you're just...
Yeah.
And you said there is some new music in the works, possibly. Yeah. Like we got to hear a snippet.
Sooner than later, yeah. I hope.
Awesome. So is the plan to stay in Nashville for a while, or what do you think you're going to do?
Yeah, for the foreseeable future, yeah. And then I'll kind of, play it by ear. But I'm excited to tour. Like, if I could tour more, I would love to do that. So home base in Nashville, but then kind of be on the road would be cool with me.
Well, that's what I always talk to people that I have on the podcast about. It's like, unfortunately, you get like 0.01% or something of a cent per stream, which isn't bad, but you know, the music industry's changed, so touring is where it's at.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure that life is fun too.
It was fun. I mean, it's exhausting if you have to go back to your 9 to 5 the next day, but it's fun otherwise.
Well, I think it's fair to say you're absolutely killing it.
Thanks.
And we are so glad to have you. You've been wonderful. And definitely, you know, keep up with us. Let us know how you're doing, because that's exciting. I would want to see your journey, and hopefully I'll catch you at a Hops and Vine.
Yeah, hope so.
Well, awesome. Thank you, Tiffany, for being on. And this is another edition of Musical Musings, wrapping up. Unfortunately, I could sit here and talk all day if people would let me, but no one does. But Botany Bay does let us do it, at least for this, 30-minute segment. So we are very glad for them to sponsor another edition of Musical Musings. I'm Marissa Hempel.